It's week 2 of PEACHTOBER. Welcome back everyone, and let's go through the next 7 prompts. Prompt 8 was dream, and this one I was not inspired by. I had no idea. I asked people like, oh, what would you draw for dream? And they gave me different ideas and nothing was feeling good, and I was doodling and I didn't want the picture to just be a dog sleeping. But then I started using the animate assistant and made a little animation instead. So I actually really liked this one. Prompt 9 was blue, and straight away I felt like I knew what I wanted to draw. And so then this one kind of came together really quickly and in a really satisfying way. I love drawing old, I guess, master paintings, like the real famous ones, and then drawing them in a more cartoony style. I think it's just such a satisfying look. In this instance, having the classic The Blue Boy by Thomas Gainsborough done in an artsy kind of way, and then just slapping the most cartoony little face on him. I just find it so funny. Like, it gets me a little chuckle every time I see it. For this one, I also was very inspired by my recent trip to the museum, where I went and did some sketching, and that really influenced how I wanted to draw this one. So I think it just kind of came out really well. And then for the color scheme, I wanted to have it very dark and blue and museum-y, or like art gallery vibe. So I looked up on Pinterest for kind of blues and brown color palette. That's what I knew I wanted to use. And I saw this one where they had broken down the color palette from the scene in Harry Potter, and all the colors just work perfectly for what I wanted to do, because it's all those blues and greens, and then you get those couple of shades of brown for, you know, artifacts and statues and picture frames and flooring that I could do. And then the purple was a nice little touch, because it meant that I had basically a third color to play with, and ended up using that for the girls' clothes. Another little tip that I've been really enjoying using at the moment is, once I block in the color, I use the acrylic brush in Procreate and kind of lightly brush on top of whatever, so you get the color from the back coming through, but it also gives it more a painty, brush strokey, messy look that I much prefer to just like the clean block colors and then hard shadows and highlights. I'm really enjoying more of a traditional look to my digital art at the moment. It was really fun using all those techniques, you know, the traditional kind of side of painting with the digital side for the Blue Boy. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it, and it made me want to do more recreations of classic paintings, because it's just so satisfying. I can't even really tell you what makes it so enjoyable for me to do and also to look at, but I don't know, it just hits right for me. So with this, I was still using a lot of the brush strokey acrylic paintbrush techniques, so that it still fitted in with its background and with the idea of it being an old painting. But I wanted to keep the line art so that it fitted in with, you know, the girl and the other surrounding things. I didn't want the picture to just be this really painterly picture and then everything else have a cartoony aspect to it. I wanted everything in the picture to feel like it belonged in the same world together. With the girl, I kept going back and forth on hair color and stuff. I had red hair for a moment and then went back to blonde, and I just feel like it was better to have her almost monochromatic in a way, minus the the purple waistcoat, just because I wanted her to be the focus, but I didn't want her to outshine the Blue Boy, or I didn't want her to have so many colors that it kind of made it a bit messy or distracted from the fact that the prompt is blue. So I wanted the overarching feeling and visual to be blue. So I know I've mentioned before getting better at the color scheme and the color palette and color theory. So this was another one that was really kind of testing me on my knowledge there. The next prompt was citrus, and this one my boyfriend came up with this creepy little description of a lemon man dropping a slice of himself. So instantly I was away. Like, I knew what I was gonna do. I played around with the face a bit because I just wanted him to be so freaky and just like off-putting. Like, I wanted to look at it and be like, ooh, what a gross little lemon. And I think I was able to achieve that with still keeping kind of a, I don't know, almost cute feeling to him. Like, you don't hate him that much, but you know he's annoying as hell. You don't want to deal with him, but you're like, okay, here comes the lemon man. I also have been liking to add in some text on different pictures that I've done. This one's the first one that I really made the text a big part of the picture. But it just made sense because there's a lemon, the prompt citrus. Everyone knows the catchphrase when life hands you lemons. So it was all just coming together in a really satisfying way. And then this one was easy to kind of smash out as well because the color palette was just going to be so simple, really going to be dealing with different shades of 2 colors is basically it. This one I just really liked. I thought it came out funny and it was just a nice little character moment. It's also nice having these pieces where it's just taking the pressure off a bit of having such a detailed layout. Like, I really do love just a simple character design. Prompt 11 was pencil, and this one I never like to go straight for the most obvious thing that I think about, but for this one I just had to stay on track. I didn't want to get too far behind in my week schedule. So when I thought of someone sitting on top of a pencil, it's very obvious for the prompt. It's not much creativity there, but I just was like, all right, we're just gonna go with that. And to be fair, to make it a little different, instead of going for a girl character, which is usually always my go-to, I shook it up, did a little guy, added some text, made it a bit more of a whole picture with like the paper that he's scrunching, flying around and floating down, and also being the paper that he's trying to draw on. And then the more I was playing with it and coloring it, the more I felt that it had a bit of a feeling, a bit of a message to it. So that was actually quite nice. It wasn't just completely like, oh, the prompt's a pencil, so I've drawn a pencil. I also have been finding it difficult for deciding the background colors of different pieces. This one I started with a pink color, and that kind of dictated the color scheme a little. But as I was getting around to finishing up, I don't know, it felt too pink. I also have been finding that a lot of the time, by the time I finish my piece, the colors are kind of a bit muddy, which I don't know how to fix. So to brighten it up, I just went with a white background for that one. Then we were doing nest, and this one was fun. I loved this one. Instantly, I thought of nest noodles. I love eating noodles. I love ramen. I've just had so much fun with this one. And as I was drawing the girls, I really enjoyed doing the different facial expressions, having them quite exaggerated. And I think it just came out so cute. Like, I could easily imagine watching a show or reading a comic book with these 2 characters in it. I think they're just really cute, make a great little duo. I based the pattern and the colors of the bowl off little Japanese bowls I bought from the supermarket like years ago. All the rabbits around it are so faded now, but this is what it used to look like. And so the color scheme just worked really well. And I love this one. I am so proud of that. Now, ship. This one, I put it in because it's it's realistic. It's what happened. It's what I did for this prompt. I had such a bigger idea in mind, as you can see when you see the sketching of the mermaids. Like, they have details and faces, and there was going to be just so much more going on. I also wanted to fix up the background and the fog and the water so much more, but this ended up taking so much time. I was already a day behind on this one, and unfortunately it just got to the point that I had to call it a day on. And you'll see the end piece, it's not that bad, but like, I had so much more that I was going to do with it. So much more character in the mermaids. I was going to do more details on the sailors rowing in. I wanted to make it more moody and look at references for the water and the smoke, the fog way more, and I just didn't end up having time. So incomplete, but also here it is. And then the last one for the week was garden. And after getting too caught up in the details on ship and having a plan that was way too big for a daily drawing, I went nice and simple and very cutesy and vibey and went for a little picnic in the garden. And I really, really liked how this one turned out. I think it's very peaceful and wholesome. And yeah, big fan. I really enjoyed all the ones I did this week, actually. So here they are, all ticked off. That's 14 days under my belt. We've basically another 14 to go. So wish me luck, and thank you so much for watching, guys. Really appreciate it. See you next week.